We're excited about the spring scrimmage on Saturday. We're going to try to time it like a game, but it'll just be offense versus defense. But it's a chance for us to see them play actually in more of a game type setting than before. And then I think our whole team is excited about visiting Italy next week. That's an interesting deal, since I read about Michigan actually going to Italy, and I don't know how much that's going to cost, but obviously it's going to cost a lot of money. It's one more thing that those Power 5 schools can do that the rest of us can't, and then we're supposed to be able to compete against them all the time. That's an interesting scenario. So I felt bad about our players not being able to experience that same thing. And since we don't have those kind of resources, we came up with maybe a better idea than they had. And so we're excited about going down to Little Italy on Tuesday.
Coach, do you still do those incentives? I think it was a couple of years ago. The winning team, I guess, has hot dogs, and the losing team had, I don't know, a steak or something.
We used to do that when we actually divided them into two teams. We're not going to divide them into two teams this time around because we have some depth issues at certain positions on offense that would make the two teams completely unequal. It would give one team a huge advantage over another team. So, and there are certain guys we're not going to play in the scrimmage that are veteran guys that have played a lot, and so you can't really get a feel for an equal match if you start dividing them up.
Do we know Penny's involvement yet? Nothing, anything, a little bit?
No, he won't carry the ball anytime it's live.
Anyone else you know right now that's a healthy scratch?
No, there's some guys that'll play less than others, but everybody else will play in the scrimmage that's healthy. Some of them won't play very much, but everybody else will play a little bit. He won't play at all.
Where's your optimism level, or where's your level compared to where you hope the team would be heading into this game versus where they are?
I knew we had a long way to go when we started, and we still have a long way to go. That doesn't mean I'm just disappointed, because I think that they've made some improvement. You don't know if they've made enough improvement until you actually play somebody else. But we still have a long way to go before we'll be any good. I think if you look to the future, and I'm not just talking about early next season, if you look to the future, I think we're going to be really good over the next 3 years. I'm just nervous that we're not going to be very good at the beginning of next season.
Is that something that fans can understand, or do you think they're impatient with, and you've set it up for some success the last few years?
I don't know what the fans expect or what their expectation level would be, and I don't. Yeah, well, I know everybody expects to win every game, but I don't delve into that anyway, because our fans are going to think what they want to think no matter what I say. I just try to tell the truth and let them decide on how much they want to buy in.
You kind of point out that there's maybe a recruiting advantage when Jim Harbaugh could say, I'm sending my team to Italy. But do you also have a recruiting advantage where you could say, if you come to San Diego, you don't have to fly to Italy. You can just drive for 10 minutes.
It's not that detailed. I mean, we're not getting into that much detail. I think we have a lot to sell with the kind of community San Diego is. I think that really helps. But do I think it's a huge recruiting advantage when someone can take entire football team, staff, equipment, people, football gear to Italy for a week and actually practice there? Do I think that's a recruiting advantage? What do you think it is? It's a huge recruiting advantage. And then you play it off as an educational experience. And it is an educational experience, but you play it off that way. And there's probably only 15 schools in the entire country that could do that. I mean, obviously, and I read a nice article in the paper today about how basketball's going that way too, with the haves and the have-nots. Well, in football, it's been like that for about the last 6-7 years, and now basketball's getting that way too. So that's just the way it's going. You can you can think about it in a rational manner, And that's just the way the world is, and you live with it, and you try to do the best you can. Or you can be irrational about it, like some fans are.
What do you think a fan should be looking for at the scrimmage? Anything in particular?
Looking on how well the offensive line plays and how well the safeties play, because that is totally going to determine on how good a football team we are next year. If our offensive line plays well, we have a chance to be good on offense, and if our safeties play well, we have a chance to be good on defense. If those two positions on our football team don't play well, we're going to struggle next year. They're going to be good eventually. They just have to be good faster than they probably should be.
What do you look for when you're out there? Obviously the team, but are you focusing on individuals at all? Just kind of curious how they progressed, or is it more of a team concept?
During the scrimmage, all I worry about is effort, how hard they're trying. Then when you actually get to watch the film, I look at certain positions and certain guys to see if they're improving.
You obviously been a big proponent of basketball, and we all know their season didn't end the way that I assume anybody around here would want it to. Do you think you can then extrapolate that message where these streaks stop on a team that's been so successful and say into your team and say, just because there's been some success here for you new people doesn't mean it's always going to be this way, and the work can't stop, and you can't just assume that great things are happening just because you're a good collection of players and part of what we've built already?
I don't think the two sports correlate. I think the two sports are completely different. One, you got 5 playing, the other you got 11 playing. One team has 13 players, the other team has 115 players. And the sports they're not the same issue. The game is not the same. The mentality's not the same. But I will say this about our basketball program. Our basketball program sets the standards around here. And all of us are trying to catch up to their standard. And in a normal situation, our basketball team had a heck of a year. And if people are upset about that, they've been spoiled, because they played better basketball than most people did. They just didn't get in the tournament, which everybody's disappointed. But that is because of the great success they've had leading up to this season.
Now, you may not say it's unfair, but you just said in there, you worried about the beginning of the season. If there are fans that might be concerned about that, couldn't we then fairly say, you've also been spoiled with some great San Diego State football success, so pause, hold on, take a breath, let's see where this goes?
No, I don't think that well. Every year I look at the team as it is. I decide where our strengths and our weaknesses are. I have a preconceived idea on how good we're going to be. Right now I have a preconceived idea on how good we'll be at the end of next year. We're going to be really good by the end of next year. I have a preconceived idea that we might struggle early. Last year I didn't have that same feeling because we had a veteran football team. I thought we'd be good right from the start last year. And we weren't real good at the start. But last year we had a much more veteran team than we have this year. So I take it year to year. I want the fans to be there because I think it makes a difference, and I want people to be involved because I think it makes a difference for everybody. I think it makes a difference in our program. It helps us be more successful. I think it's fun. It's a social event, and it's fun for people that come. But when you're developing a team, you can't think about what the fans think.
Do you have a sense already that you're already picking up fans with the Chargers leaving town from, when you're out and about?
I think that's a good sign. How things have started as far as ticket sales and everything, I think that's a really good sign. I hope it continues all the way up until our first game. And then after our first game, I hope a whole bunch of them go running in there because they saw how we played in the first game, go running in there and join up.
I know that I don't know if you've ever had a chance to talk to him yet, but I know that Coach Fisher said he's going to take his month and change sabbatical, figure out what he wants to do with his life. I'm going to just make an assumption that you want him to return, but have you had a chance to talk to him?
Oh, Coach Fisher and I are friends, but we don't talk about those kind of things. We talk more about developing teams and teamwork and how we react in our league, how we react without the resources that are not the same as people we play. We talk about those things. We don't we're both old guys. We don't talk about whether we're retiring or not. That's a personal issue. We don't talk about personal issues. I think that he's one of the greatest coaches that ever coached basketball. And the longer he wants to coach, the better off we are.
Is there something you've learned from him in particular?
I learn stuff from him all the time. Oh, the way he handles himself on the sidelines, the way he talks to the media. I mean, obviously we have different personalities. He seems positive all the time, no matter what happens. Obviously, I'm not that way. But that doesn't mean we don't respect each other's personalities. I like how he, it looks bad, and then he makes it sound like it looked good. After I hear him, I figured we won.